Joined now in studio by one of our great friends who's come to visit us from Toronto. It's our pleasure to welcome Kathryn Botchford back to the Go-Goat Sports Studio. How you doing?
I'm very well. Thanks so much for having me. It's so great to see you guys.
Well, it's so great to see you and to see the kids. So tell us what brings you back to Vancouver here.
Yeah, well, the kids have been asking to come for, I guess, the last year. We were supposed to travel in December, but there was a snowstorm.
Right.
So they were on their spring break last week, and we're here to see family and friends. So it's their first time back since we've moved.
And what's that like for you, coming back here to Vancouver?
It's a little emotional,
yeah.
Right? Weather's nicer than Toronto right now, but it's beautiful, right? So Vancouver will always be home.
Mm-hmm. It's a tough city to have in the rear view mirror. Tell us, the kids are how old now?
So Sienna is 12, Kira is 10, and Hudson is now 7.
Mm-hmm. And was it Sienna, I believe, when you guys went on vacation with her and took the photos from everywhere and sent them back to Tony Gallagher and whatnot?
Yes.
Yeah. Very cute. Very cute.
Now, I know that you've relocated to Toronto, but we saw when the Canucks were in Toronto that you can't take BC out of the Botchfords entirely.
Yes.
So there was a little bit of Canuck love shown.
Very much. Yeah, definitely. We went to, the Canucks were playing the Leafs, and we wore our Canucks jersey, and we're cheering very loud, even though they lost, but we were still proud.
The Botsford Project. Again, completed for again this year. We know that you take great pride in going through all the resumes and selecting the different fellows. How did that go by you this year?
It was amazing. Like I said, every year it continues to be so bittersweet. Now Kira, so she's the 10-year-old, she wants to start getting involved and really seeing the applicants. But like I've always said, just to watch their career trajectories take off has been incredible. And I still keep in touch with a lot of them that have gone through the program.
Yeah, and I think people certainly are aware of the program, but just as a little refresher, to think of the very first night, David Quadrelli was the first one.
That's
through.
right.
And you look at what Dave's been able to do in this market, and Faber went through it as well that first year. And, those two guys have worked their way up to, they cover this team. They're accredited by the Canucks now. That was sort of the goal. And I just use Dave as an example because there have been others that have come through. But he was candidate number one way back when. It was a game against the Colorado Avalanche, I recall. And
But there was something about him when I was going through his application, and it was the humility that he brought, and he still continues to be so humble and appreciative. And I think Jason was the same.
And the program, it's proof. It's proof of concept that there are so many people out there with blogs and pods that are doing great work, and you just need that break. You need an opportunity, and that's sort of what the Botchford Project represents. And a lot of these guys and girls have used it as a springboard, and they're now working in the market here.
We miss you because you were one of the biggest champions and really supported the program. And so if I could use my voice to bring you back, I would love to. Because
well, I want to get back. There were some politics at play that hopefully we can move past and look forward, because next year, unfortunately, but also, the reality is it would be the 5th year of the Botchford Project.
Did the kids ever show any interest in journalism or sports reporting or media at all?
Kira, again, she's in grade 5. She's like, I want to be a writer, a published writer, and a lawyer. So she said on this trip, Mommy, I need to go get a tour of UBC, because that's the university I'm going to go to law school, and I'm going to get a journalism degree. She's 10. 10. This is not me. This is all her.
Wow.
So
if you were feeling inadequate today, Kira Botchford at 10 years old, plotting out life, UBC law, and echo what you guys said about the Botchford Project. We have finally, just in the last couple of months, been able to resume our internship program, which we were very proud of back in the old radio days, pandemic and everything that was going on. So it's been fantastic to get around young people like Kira with all their hopes, dreams, aspirations, and a full life ahead of them. We owe you an enormous thank you. Told the story a couple of months back. When was it when you were called back in town by the BC government?
It was the end of January.
End of January. So end of January, we told the story that, the BC government came to us and said, we'd like you to participate in an anti-stigma and safe supply campaign that we've got coming up. And we said, okay, we're happy to participate. And, the more we talked about it as a group here, as a company, we said, boy, how do we participate here without talking about Jason? And I reached out to you and I said, we'd like your blessing to invoke Jason. And you did us one better. You said you'd like to participate as well. Tell us about that experience, Kat.
Yeah, I think just from my story and what I went through, I thought that my story could reach so many more people by telling my experience. I feel there's still so much work to do, as a community, and it's bigger than me. It's bigger than what I went through. And so I just really felt sharing my story could help people in hopes that, people could change how they deal with or cope with things.
It went so successful in terms of you helping us out that the BC government reached out to you and said, we'd like to bring you back and participate in the press conference. Tell us about that.
I was completely overwhelmed and terrified because here I would be publicly speaking about my story, on this forum in a press conference. So I was very, very nervous, even though some have told me they didn't notice I was nervous. I was really nervous, but it was my first time back to BC. So there's a lot of emotions going on. I was very triggered, but like I said, it's bigger than me, the story. So I feel I have a responsibility because of who Jason was. I feel my voice can hopefully, help.
And you mentioned to me that you were ready for that step because the kids had started to ask questions, yes. Right? And the kids had started to look into this a little bit.
Absolutely. So first, they're learning about this in the school curriculum and asking a lot of questions as I've shared. And when I realized I have to tell them the truth because if I don't, they're going to end up resenting me or possibly resenting Jason. And so just sharing first the story with Sienna and Kira, just to kind of help them understand this didn't define who your father was. This is something that possibly, he did for a coping mechanism. I'm not sure the whole picture, but it's to, keep them aware, make them aware that, a lot of times people deal with things in different ways, right? And that the story needs to be shared. Hudson's too young. He just turned 7. But I'm gearing up to tell him, and I'm not sure when. It's such a delicate topic.
Yeah. Uncle Derek's coming down from Smithers this weekend. Jason's brother Derek, who we got a chance to meet Jeff, and they look a whole lot alike. And Derek loves his fishing up there in Smithers, so you're going to be able to catch up with Uncle, and for the first time, right?
No, it's actually been 2.5 years. So the last time we saw them would have been right before we moved to Toronto, and just the pandemic and he's fishing a lot. We're unable to actually make it work, so it's going to be really exciting. And the kids are all grown up, so they're getting nervous but excited to see if they still have that connection.
You talk about being back in town. I'm sure the kids are aware. They've seen photos. Have you taken them to the Botchford bench?
No, I'm going to. I'm going to do that today.
Which is incredible. And I love full circle moments because we had Wyatt on the show earlier this week, in fact, and Wyatt was the one that spearheaded the drive to get the plaque. And if people haven't seen it, as he said, the weather's turning now. People are starting to get outside more, walk to Rogers Arena for games. It's in the Andy Livingston Park. And if people haven't seen the Botchford bench, should make a point of stopping by.
Well, enjoy your time here. Enjoy the hockey game. Fantastic seeing you. Thank you for helping us out. And we'll be here steadfast for you guys.
Thank you. It was so wonderful seeing you guys, too. Thanks for having me.